refusing to honor promise for paying for my friend's new furniture after she tried to lie about amount she needs. Little context: I, F34, have been close friend with Eva, 36, since college days. I and Eva have also been close friends with Julia, 33, however me and Julia had a big falling out about 5 years ago. We come from small Eastern European conservative country. I have moved away soon after college, but both girls are still home and still close friends. During pandemic, Eva started to date a guy, David. As their relationship progressed and the more she told me about the guy, the less I liked him. When she told me they got engaged, I tried to talk to her about my concerns. She didn't want to listen. Earlier this year, Eva told me they would get married this fall, and asked me to be her maid of honor. I was torn between supporting my friend and refusing on grounds I just don't think he is right for her. In the end, I said yes to being her maid of honor. In our culture, it is custom that best man and maid of honor gift the newlyweds the biggest/most expensive gift, and the rest of the guests use it as a guide what not to exceed. I own my company and earn substantial income, so I've asked her what she needs/wants. She said it would mean a lot if I could help furnish their new apartment, that their mortgage doesn't leave any room for furniture. I said fine. Send me the list/links of what you want, and offered to either buy it for her or give her a check that would cover everything on the list. She sent me the list. It was a lot, but still nothing I couldn't easily afford. About 2 months ago, she called to say she would have 2 ceremonies, civil ceremony this fall and church wedding next year, but that she wants Julia to be her maid of honor for church ceremony and me for civil. I wasn't okay with this and said she would need to choose. Since I committed to buying her furniture, I even offered to keep that promise if she chose Julia. She did. It stung a bit, but I reminded myself I was never really for that marriage. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, when Eve calls asking for check for furniture. I asked her to remind me what the amount was. I knew rough figure, but not down to a final euro. She rattled amount that was almost 3x what I had in my head. After going back through emails, I was right, and she almost tripled originally number. After confronting her, she first tried to blame it on inflation, but then said it shouldn't matter because I can afford it and it's my wedding gift to her. I proceed to rescind my offer to pay for furniture and said I would prefer to stick to our custom and make sure my gift doesn't overshadow that of maid of honor. She called me in a hole for going back on my promise. Comment 1. NTA: It's one thing to change your mind and keep the people close to you in the loop. However, in this case you were lied to and your financial status was used as a "but you can afford it so it doesn't matter" crutch. If your friend wanted more money towards the furniture or other things and she asked you in advance, I'm assuming you would have fulfilled her wishes. People like this really hurt my heart, because it didn't matter how long you have known the other person, that first lie is never the last lie. All I can say to you is, if you want to mend what could be lost, voice your opinions and express the hurt. Comment 2. This woman isn't your friend, Julia's her friend. She always wanted Jay to be Mo, but you can afford the furniture, so she decided to run a scam on you and came up with a civil wedding so she would still get the expensive gift. Wouldn't be surprised if they both cooked it up. You're well rid of her. NTA. Comment 3. NTA: But your friend is tripling the amount of money and then telling you that you could afford it was certainly not what a friend would do. I love your comment telling her that you wouldn't want your gift to overshadow that of the maid of honor after she had chosen to replace you with Julia. Great thinking. Calling my friend a parasitic leech and refusing to foot her pregnancy bills. I, 38M, used to have a friend, Elise, 37F. She got unemployed a while earlier. When I learned about it, I helped her financially. She said I did not have to do that, but I insisted. I want to make it clear that I was not expecting anything in return at the time. We had not discussed repayment. I just told her we will talk about that later, you should take care of yourself right now. However, after she had managed to find another job, I got into a few constraints myself. I needed to get through various expenses. I thought it would be nice to ask her for help. I required around $2,500, and I knew she had the money as she had gotten a really well-paying job at a multinational company. I asked her. However, She just ignored my question and said something along the lines of whatever you did for me was on you. Your problems are your responsibility. I am not answerable for them. I do not owe you anything, and don't contact me about it again. I was flabbergasted, but I did not contact her again. I managed to get out of my issues, and she got fired again. I don't want to name the company unless required, but it was in the news that it had recently laid off a lot of people. By this time she was also pregnant, which meant that she required some help. And she asked me for help now. I told her how the turntables, calling her a parasitic leech. I stated that karma had gotten to her, and refused to help her. I stated that I would not give a damn even if she got a miscarriage. She called me names before leaving. I think that I went too far. Edit: her boyfriend had abandoned her after she got pregnant, which is why she did not ask him for help. As another commentor pointed out, she had said, if you don't help I'll have a miscarriage first, before I made that comment to make it clear that I would not care even in that case. Comment 1. NTA for refusing to help her. However, you should have walked away as soon as you realized she was a user and she cut contact. I don't think you should have brought up the pregnancy as an insult though. Be the bigger person, walk away as she can figure out her issues with her baby daddy. I think it's safe to say this friendship is over. Comment 2. NTA, I don't think you were really upset about the fact that she didn't land you the money, but mostly about her attitude. That you don't owe anyone anything ever, you're on your own. F off attitude really did come back to bite her in the ass. And the fact that despite all this she asked you for money again. Sometimes I wish I had these people's audacity. Comment 3. NTA et al. She was only too happy to accept your financial help when you insisted, but when the shoe was on the other foot and you actually asked for help, she was all tough not my problem. Then when she's in difficulties again, she had the nerve to ask you for help after what she told you? Good Lord. I personally would have laughed hard in her face and slammed the door shut. And she called you names? Definitely go North Carolina with this lunatic. Expecting my GF to support me while I'm unemployed? I lost my job 4 months ago and A doesn't cover my full living expenses. I had to buy a car since mine had 330,000 kilometers on it and the engine issue was worth fixing. After that I had couple thousand saved and that has been completely wiped out, and now I'm not able to cover all my expenses. I asked my GF to help cover my expenses and she has refused because I didn't propose before this. We had been dating for 3 years and moved in for 2. She had told me 3 dates in she expected to be engaged in about 2 years of dating and is very unhappy with me because I didn't propose. I'm sure she is the one, I'm just still hesitant about marriage, and she has told me she is trying to get over the fact she wasted 3 years with me. I told her to give me some time and she has thankfully not pushed it. This was shortly before my work announced they were cutting people and I was let go. Now she says I'm expecting too much from her since I'm not ready for marriage but expecting her to help me with rent. We have been dating for 3 years, doesn't that count for something? If it was a year in I understand if it was too early, but we have been together for a long time. But she told it was meaningless because I haven't proposed and she refuses to help me, as I could just decide I don't want marriage and bail at any time. I could have bailed at any time while dating and still can bail after we get engaged, but I didn't and I won't. We have been serious for a long time. Why is the ring and marriage all that matters? I've told her since she won't help, it's shown me she isn't serious too, and she told me it's fine, we can just end the lease and I can go back to live with family if I can't afford rent here. I'm getting interview requests back and did an interview already, although I didn't get it. It's crazy to me she would waste 3 years over covering a bit more rent and groceries. Comment 1. YTA, well, how the turntables. She told you her terms for a more committed relationship and you've refused them. She has continued your relationship, but has adjusted her expectations and contributions accordingly. Why should she change them because suddenly you need the benefits of a more committed relationship, but aren't willing to actually make the commitment? This is the epitome of expecting wife duties for girlfriend wages. Comment 2. YTA. You're wanting to have your cake and eat it too. You're getting all the perks of being married with none of the security or teamwork for her. That is why she mentioned the marriage thing. She's being expected to carry you, but you're not in it for the long haul. Get an interim job. There has got to be a McDonald's or the like somewhere nearby that you can supplement your UE with. I don't know about where you live, but you can usually make up to a certain amount without it cutting into your UE. Act like a grown-up and pull your own weight. Leaving when our friends brought their dog to dinner. I, 27M, planned a night out with my fiancé, 28F, and our friends, late 20s, at a trendy restaurant near where we live. Back info: we aren't dog people. I've had girlfriends end relationships with me over the fact I don't want a dog. In the topic of pets, my current spouse is very compatible. They just aren't our thing, and our friends know this about us. Like we aren't the type to pet them all. A key part of this story: nearly every restaurant has patios that are dog-friendly while indoors is not. It's nearly impossible to find non-pet-friendly patios. Our friends, however, are now pet people. They got a dog over COVID. They've become the people that take it everywhere with them. My fiancé and I do hang out with them less because of it. We showed up about 10 minutes early for our reservation. I intended to eat indoors. Turns out our friends beat us here. We were led to a patio table and see they brought their dog. I say no, I'm not doing this. What are you thinking bringing that? Fiancé and I went inside to see if the bar had any seats, and my buddy chased us down. Explains the dog sitter fell through and the dog will just lay there and not bother us. I don't care. Mentioned not sure why they need a sitter and we aren't spending our meal with a dog. Told him it's fucked up you spring your dog on us. There were no bar seats, so fiancé and I decided to leave. My buddy said I'm an asshole. I told him I'm not spending time with you, dog. We'll figure somewhere else out to go. I got texts saying how F up what we did was. Comment 1. Hard NTA, I love dogs. They are fun and great, and I still feel the same way about them at restaurants as you do. I don't give a shit about how nice or gentle your dog is. It's a fucking dog and can lash out at someone at any time for any reason. Anyone who says otherwise has no idea what animals are capable of. And they are dirty animals. Just gross. A dog sitter for a meal? Insane. I'm already against most dog sitting anyway, as they are an animal and can fend for themselves if needed. Edit: just to clarify, I mean fend for themselves for a few hours, like handle their own food and water from a bowl with a doggy door, definitely not don some armor and slay the nearest evil mailman while handling a siege with no help for weeks. Comment 2. ESH. They know you don't like dogs and should have called you to give you a chance to back out. But, you as well, once you got there, you don't say anything about the dog having poor behavior. If the dog was going to just lay on the ground near its owners, then there's no reason not to just ignore its presence and eat dinner.
Refusing to be paired up with the Down syndrome kid. I'm 16F and I am in a special class in my high school for special needs students. It's not purely for disabled kids, but mostly for people 16 to 20 who had drug or mental health problems that led them to dropping out of school. There's one kid in the class, Daniel 17M, and he has Down syndrome. I have an autoimmune condition that makes me miss a lot of school because I'm in hospital, and I use a cane or a walker. Our class coordinator Brenda likes to get us to do different activities during the day, because our classes are structured differently from the rest of the school. Mostly trying to get us to socialize by doing activities like board games or helping out in the school canteen. Daniel and I are the only two physically disabled students in the class, and because of this we keep getting paired up. I hate it. He's really rude to me and will do stuff like take my cane and give it to his other friends, because he thinks it's funny. I've told Brenda that he won't quit harassing me and I don't want to be left alone with him, but she just tells me I'm being prejudiced against his condition, and lying about it because he has Downs, and not a mean bone in his body. I'm now refusing to do anything with him, and walked out of the kitchen when we were both rostered. Everyone keeps saying that people with Downs don't know how to be mean, so I don't know if this is actually discriminatory. Comment 1. NTA. Don't let people gaslight you into thinking that your experiences aren't real. It doesn't matter why Daniel is stealing your cane. Maybe he's doing it to be mean. Maybe he thinks it's funny. Maybe the other kids put him up to it. None of that matters. What matters is that he's doing it, you find it upsetting, and neither Daniel nor Brenda are doing anything to stop it from happening. So refuse to go to school. Tell your parents that you are being harassed daily, that complaining to Brenda and the principal has done nothing to help, and that therefore, you're not returning to school until you can do so safely. It is obvious that Brenda is not in control of her classroom. Comment 2. NTA. Even if he is unable to understand that what he is doing is wrong, it doesn't change the fact that it is bad behavior. My sibling worked with a group that assisted people with disabilities and was sexually harassed by someone with Down syndrome. She was constantly told that he was just unaware of what he was doing, but it was mentioned that it was a pattern and they refused to advise this to the volunteers, who had no idea of his patterns. You don't need to be paired or forced to work with someone who is harassing you regardless of their disability.